This is question 12 from homework 9.2. A nutritionist wants to determine how much time nationally people spend eating and drinking. Suppose a random sample of 902 people of age 15 or older. The mean amount of time spent eating and drinking per day is 1.64 with a standard deviation of 0.72. Let's see. A histogram of time spent eating and drinking is skewed right. So the data is histogram is skewed right. Use this to explain why a large sample is needed. So if you remember, the third condition to construct a confidence interval for the mean was that you need to have either a normal distribution or you need to have a large sample. Now they're saying the histogram is skewed right, so the large sample is required, right? So the distribution, uh, let's see. Since the distribution of time spent is not normally distributed because of its skewed right, the sample must be large enough so the sample mean can be approximately normal. So this is what we're gonna check. Okay. There are 200 million people nationally aged 15 or year older. So there are 200, that is population size. Explain why this, along with the fact that data were obtained using random sample, satisfies the requirement for constructing a confidence interval. So if you remember that the first condition is that the sample size should be less than 5% of the population, right? Sample size is given to be 902. That clearly is less than 5% of 200 million. So that was the condition. So let's read them. Sample size is greater than 5%. We don't want that. Sample size is less than 10%. That's not the condition. Sample size is less than 5% of the population. That is what we have as a condition. We check that one. Okay. Determine and interpret a 99% confidence interval for the mean. So whenever you need to find confidence interval for mean, if all the conditions are satisfied, you are going to use T interval, right? So T interval is stat and test. T interval is at 8 number. Press enter. So either the data would be given or the stats. In this question, the stats are given. So data means that actual table of values. No, we are not given that. So let's put it on this side. We are given with the data. We are given with the stats, sorry. What are the statistics given? We are given that the mean amount of time eating and drinking spent is 1.64. So x bar will be 1.64. Standard deviation is given to be 0.72, if you see here, right? Then n is the sample size, is given to be 902, and they're asking us to build a 99% confidence level, so 0.99. So let's check one more time. 1.64 is the mean, 0.72 is the standard deviation, and sample is size 902. So calculate, press enter. So here is your interval, but you need to select in from the question which one you will need to select. So clearly this is not the A because confidence interval does not say anything about probability. So not this. Let's read part B. The nutritionist is 99% confident that amount of time spent eating and drinking per day of any individual is between this time to this time. Okay. The nutritionist is 99% confident that mean amount of time spent eating and drinking per day. So usually when you read the question, so whatever the language is written here, okay, the nutrition wants to determine that how much time nationally people spend on eating and drinking. So it's not about individually, right? So this is not B. So this has to be C. And you're going to write between. This is coming from here in the calculator. So, and they're asking to round it up to 3 decimal places. So I'm going to write 1.578 and 1.708. hours. Check, that's correct. Okay, next. So let's read what they're asking. Could the interval be used to estimate the mean amount of 9 years old? Now, the data was given for 15 years old, right? The stats were given for 15-year-old people. So clearly, we cannot tell about 9-year-old. They would have different um, mean times and they would have different standard deviations, etc. So it's clearly no. We have to check which no because B and D both are saying no. The interval is about individual time spent. That I don't think that's the correct answer. The interval is about the people age 50 or older. The mean amount of time spent for the 9-year-old may differ, obviously, right? They are different people, so stats would be different. So let's check that out. Okay, that's it for this question.